Hi, this screencast is about using Hapara, which is a really neat tool that we have to organize our work with students within Google Docs and other Google Apps. So this is just a overview on some of the things that you can do on Hapara. Lots more information coming and support and tips and cool things in the future. So to get to your Hapara dashboard, there is a link that I will send to each of you, and it is on the Teacher Tech Tools site. Once you get to this link, you should see automatically your classes. Everything is all set up for you. So we're going to use Cammie's classes as the trial since she used Hapara last year. So once you're in your dashboard, you can just click on either of your classes if you have two, or your one class if you're a sixth grade teacher or a Jose teacher. So within your teacher dashboard, there are several different sections, and I'm just going to go through them one by one so you know what is available to you and some of the cool things that you can do. So the default will take you to this dashboard tab, which will show you each of your subject folders. So all of you are set up with subject folders according to what you teach, and this means that each and every one of your students on your roster, and just a note that the Hapara rosters will be updated soon, so Cammie, if you see some students in here that shouldn't be, or students that are missing, don't worry, that's all going to get sorted. But each of your students in their Google Drive, they have folders that are automatically set up for them according to subject area. So if I was a self-contained teacher, I would have all of my subjects here. Since Cammie is a humanities teacher, she has just English, social studies, and she has PLT for Northwestern because that's her homeroom. She does not have a PLT folder for Santa Clara because that's not her homeroom. Now, I don't know how much you're going to use this PLT folder, but it's there if you need it. So in this dashboard tab, what I'm seeing is what each of these students has in their drive in this folder. So most of you won't see anything because that has just barely been set up for you. We're seeing all of this stuff because Cammie used Hapara last year. So we can see every document in each of these folders. So I'll show you social studies as well. You can see the different things that Cammie students worked on last year. If you hover over the title of the document, it'll give you a little thumbnail with some information, as you can see, and with a little picture of what the document looks like. So yeah, you can sort of explore with that and see what students have in their drive. Some handy tools. You can sort your students in multiple different ways. So you just click this little A to Z button that I just clicked, and you'll see all of your different options. So I encourage you to play around with that. You can also color code your students. So if you click on this little box next to their name, let's say that I wanted to make Amelia and Dianara orange for some reason. Then when I click on this color box up in the corner, maybe orange is for high flyers. I can set it for whatever I want. I have all these different options. And then when I want to sort my students, I can sort by class group, and it will put all the oranges together. So maybe I have 10 different colors, and once I click that sort by class group, it will put them all together for me, which is kind of cool. I also can just grab a student and move them over. So maybe I just really want to keep tabs on Aaron and Irving, so I want them at the very top when I log in. You can move these around however you would like. You can also change this from the drop down to maybe I want to see more than 3 items at once, and it will load up to 15. It looks like Isaiah only has 6 anyway, but I can also get up to 25. This filter is also really useful. Maybe I just wanted to see all of the untitled documents to help my students get those organized and make sure that they're named. And so that filter, this search bar here, is really useful to find whatever you might need to find from your students. I'll talk about each of these little icons for a second. let's say that you wanted to open, I'm going to take out this filter. Let's say that you wanted to open Erin's English folder. I just click here and it'll open for me. It's not going to work right now because I'm not Cami, so I don't have permissions to do that. But FYI, that's what happens. Let's say that I see something in here that I want to talk to Erin about. I can click this little button right here, and it's going to take me directly to write Erin an email. So that's it, just an easy way to get in touch with students. This little icon right here is a teacher notes or individual learning plan option. That's something that I need to work with administrators to set up. So just be aware that that will probably be available in the near future. I don't think it will open right now for me, again, because I'm not Cami. But it's just a place where we can keep notes about students, whatever might be useful. And as we're working on the learning profiles, we can put those there. And so it's just an easy way to access information about students. So that's sort of what is here on this dashboard tab. I think the coolest part, well, one of the coolest parts about Hapara is this tiny little icon right here, which is called Smart Copy. So if I click here, this is how I can push out a document to all of my students. So let's say I want to assign them a 5-paragraph essay and I want it to be named in a certain way, and I want it to have the instructions on it. I can just shoot it out using Smart Copy. I think this is extremely useful. So because I'm in this English tab right here, this is going to shoot it to their English folder. If I want to do it in a different folder, then I need to select that before I click on Smart Copy. But I can either select an existing document, so maybe I already created a document with instructions and that's what I want to push out, or I can create a new blank document. So that's what I'm going to do right now just to show you. And it can be any of these things. There's some options here that you might want to read through and see what's best for the assignment that you are creating. Maybe you just want them to read and be able to read and comment. Maybe you want them to be able to edit them. You can look at these different options and choose what's best. And then I can title it. And I just think that this is so cool. You know, maybe I want the title of it to be their first name, last name, and then 5-paragraph essay, so that when I go in my drive and everything that's shared with me, I know which document belongs to which student. And I just use these instructions here. So if I put %F space %L 5-paragraph essay, this is how it's going to pop up with the students' individual names on it, which I think is kind of cool. So then here I can choose the folder as well. So the default is the folder that I'm in, but if I want to change that, I can do that here. And then this is kind of cool. I can select a specific student or students to push this out to. Maybe I don't want it to go to the whole class, or I can choose a group. You remember I made that color-coded high flyers group? Those will show up here as well, and it will just send to those students. Then there's a few more options that I can choose from, and as soon as I click this Smart Copy button, which I'm not going to click now because I don't want it to show up in Amelia and Dianara's folders right this second. It takes about 5 minutes to be pushed out to students, so just keep that in mind. It's not totally instantaneous because it does need to make a copy for every single student. So if you're doing it on the fly and you're expecting students to get it right then, not going to happen. But after about 5 minutes, it should be in the right place. So that is how you do Smart Copy. I think it's pretty cool. So I'm just going to quickly go through these other tabs. So if you go to the Gmail tab, this is a way that you can see what is in students' emails. So there's some real gems in here if you just need some entertainment, but also it's just a good way to make sure that students are on task and that they are communicating in the right ways, and if you need to see if they got a certain email or what they're working on, it's a good way to figure that out. Again, if you click on any of these, it can open up for you. I don't think it, oh, it did. Awesome. It opened up for me even though I'm not Cami. And you can see the whole thing. And you'll notice the same 2 icons here. If I need to send an email to this student or if I want to look at their individual learning plan, it is forthcoming. You can also look at their sent mail, what's in their trash, audit. I'm not totally sure exactly what this button is for. I'm going to find out for you. Looks kind of cool. But this is just a way to get a peek into your students' Gmail. Good way to keep accountability if they know that you can see all of that. This sharing tab shows each student's entire drive. So whereas the dashboard tab is in their individual folders, the sharing tab is their whole drive. And there's lots of different options right here. So unshared is anything that they haven't shared with anybody yet. Public is things that have been shared outside of alphapublicschools.org, so maybe you want to keep track of that. External is anything that's come in from outside of alphapublicschools.org. All docs is everything. Docs trash is obvious, it's their trash. I don't think that this Picasa tab is going to be useful to you right now, but I'll let you know if it is in the future. So same thing with the sorting over here. If you need to use a filter or you want to sort by student group or whatever it might be, just this tab is everything that's in their drive rather than sorted by your individual folders. This Interact tab is also called Remote Control. And as long as your students are logged in Chrome, you are able to see exactly what they're doing. It's a pretty cool accountability feature if students know that you can see all of their tabs that are open and do some other cool things that I'm going to show you. They're less likely to be off task. But as I was talking with the Hapara people, I thought they had a really good point that this shouldn't be so much of a gotcha thing, but just as a way to interact with your class as a whole and to have positive interactions with them. So there are several different things that you can do to create those positive interactions and just to really help your students be on task rather than just catching them when they're doing something that they shouldn't. So an idea that they had, the Hapara people, is that you can project this while students are working on things, then they're really likely to stay on task. I can see some other opportunities to get attention that come from that as well, but just an idea. And then I'll show you some of the other features here. So this little guy, so first of all, in each of these boxes, you'll see all the tabs that your student has open in Chrome. There will be a little X next to these tabs, so you can click on that X and it will close that tab for that student. This little button allows you to send them a message. So if I click this and I type in whatever I'd like, close your tab that is on ESPN, or maybe I'd love it if you'd get back on task, whatever you'd like to say, hopefully a positive interaction. You can put it there in that box and send the message and it will just pop up on their screen, which is pretty cool. You can also open a tab for Erin. You can also view the screenshot of what is happening just if you need the whole picture of what is on their screen. And again, email and open their individual learning plan, which is forthcoming. What I think is really cool about this is that there is these class-wide icons as well. So maybe you want to send a message to every student. You can do it with this little icon. And if you want to open a tab for every student, you can do it with this little icon, which is really useful if you want students to go to a specific website and you don't want to have to upload it to your class page and have them click on it or write down this long URL on the board. You can just put in the URL here, click open tab, it will pop up on every single student's computer, which is pretty neat. Last thing really quick is this class info tab. I'm almost out of my screencast time, so that's why I'm rushing through this, but lots more information to come. Just so you know, all of their this is their Gmail, their Google ID and password is here. Please do not reset passwords without telling me, just because I keep all that information together. Just want you to know that's available there. You also have a class email right here. So if Cami, or anyone really, were to send an email to this email address, it would go to every single student in her class. So that's just useful if you want to send a mass email to your class, and there's just some extra lists down here to help you organize things. So I just encourage you to explore your teacher dashboard, see all of the cool things that you can do, ask me questions, and be excited about more information to come soon. So that's how you can get started on Hapara. Hope you have fun with it.